Thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Wait, I don't think I'm actually live. Let's see. Am I live? It's hard to tell sometimes because the delay. There we go. Hello, everybody. It's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube. I am here to answer your Royal Caribbean cruise questions. Type your questions in chat. We're going to answer as many cruise questions as possible. Starting with the most important question, how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. I got my next cruise coming up in October on Serenade of the Seas. It is our second Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise of the year. Very excited. It's a cruise out of Boston. I've never sailed out of Boston, and a cruise to Canada and New England, which I've never done before as well. Time to answer your cruise questions, guys. So feel free to type your questions in chat. I'm going to get to as many as possible, starting with some super chats that began before the broadcast began. First one up, I think now that's straight. No, yeah, yes. Lori Reed. Lori, thank you for the super chat. We're just 6 days away from our cruise on Harmony of the Seas. Is it permitted for people to share plates in specialty restaurants on Harmony of the Seas? And the answer is yes. You can absolutely share specialty restaurant meals, plates with other people. The drink package is the only thing you can't share with someone else, but you can definitely share food between people at the same table at a specialty restaurant. Same for the main dining room as well. JD, thank you for the super chat. I bought a cruise safe travel adapter, but it comes with a 5-foot cord. Will that be okay to bring? And should I put it in carry-on or checked luggage? First of all, despite what you may have seen or read on Amazon, there is no such thing as a cruise safe travel adapter. We see these a lot as in the marketing, but technically there is no such thing. If it plugs into the wall and has an outlet to it, there's an issue there. What's usually safe are things that plug into the wall and have USB outlets. But if you're plugging into the wall and there are physical like power outlets, it depends on what you bought. I don't know exactly which one you purchased there. My best advice is to purchase ones that have just USB outlets. If I have my bag nearby, I could maybe fish out the one that I have that I brought there. But obviously, you don't want any power. You don't want surge protectors. You don't want power strips or anything that looks like a power strip. That's probably the most important thing. As for it to put in your carry-on or your checked luggage, I always put my carry-on bag. That's because I'm bringing all my other, my laptop and things like that. Desiree Hall. Desiree, thank you so much for your super chat. Appreciate you. Helg Hallen, thank you for the epic super chat. Woo! Thank you. 11 days till Ovation of the Seas to Hawaii. It's really starting to hit me. Thank you for all the videos and content. You have been so helpful in preparing this. You rock. Well, thank you so much for the amazing generosity. I am so glad to hear that this gibberish that I give out every Monday is actually helpful. Love that. Nicole, thank you for the super chat. Our first cruise, combo retirement, and birthday for my husband and Christmas. Happy birthday and congratulations. Voyager of the Seas, rarely hear anybody talk about that ship. Did I make a mistake? Did you make a mistake? Absolutely not. Voyager's a great ship. Listen, we do tend to focus on maybe the same 6 or 8 ships a lot because they just are the most popular vessels, or there's more top of the they just seem to garner a lot more attention. But Voyager of the Seas is definitely not a mistake. When it comes to picking a cruise ship, as long as you understand what the ship has, like if you're like, oh, Matt, I saw that poster behind you, and boy, that looks amazing. Can't wait to do that on Voyager of the Seas. Yeah, they don't have that on Voyager, right? But as long as you're okay with that, it's still a great ship. So no, you did not make a mistake inherently. It's more a question of understanding what the ship offers and doesn't offer. But being a Voyager class ship, I think it's one of the best ships in the fleet. Really, really like it quite a bit. Jay-Z, thank you for the super chat. Good day, Matt. When is the cheapest time to do Alaska? Good question. May, early June, or September are definitely the cheaper times of the year to go. May, first half of June, and anytime in September is usually cheapest. Why is it cheapest? Well, in all cases of May, June, and September, school is in session. And number 2, in September, not only is school in session, it tends to be very rainy as well. Former Genius coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Former Genius. Big thanks to you and Paradise Beach for last giveaway tickets. I'm thinking about booking the group cruise on Voyager of the Seas next December and using the tickets then. Dude, that is fantastic. Of course, as many of you know, we give away some free tickets to Paradise Beach and Cozumel, and Former Genius was one of the winners there. So that is awesome. Thank you for the very generous super chat. And I hope you get to join us on that group cruise. I think it's going to be an amazing one on Voyager of the Seas, nonetheless. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, I'm going on a honeymoon in 20 days. Congratulations on Wonder of the Seas. Can I book specialty dining through the app once I'm on board, or do I have to go book it at the restaurants? You need to go to one of the restaurants. You can't book it through the app. If you book it through the app, Dylan, they're going to charge you the full price, not with your dining package. So if you're getting a dining package, then you need to book it on board the ship. Obviously, if you just want to book a specialty restaurant, you can do that now. But I think your question is alluding to the idea that you want to book a specialty dining package. Hey, Pascal, one of our moderators is here. When the question is, should I book a group cruise? The answer is should always be yes. Absolutely. Ed, thank you for the super chat. 6 days till Oasis. Is Atlantis worth visiting? Yes and no. I mean, it's Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, in Nassau. It's a wonderful resort. Beautiful, well appointed. I don't think anyone here will tell you that it is not a very nice place to go to. The issue, Ed, is that it's super pricey. I mean, really pricey for the limited amount of time you've got over there. So that's really the question. Not so much like, is it worthwhile in the sense like, is it top quality? Because it is, but you're paying a ton for that. And you can also make the argument that your ship is probably going to Perfect Day at Coco Key. You can do similar things over there. It's more of a check for you, but as long as you're okay with the price, yeah, I mean, I don't think you should have any concerns that it's not going to be a nice place to go to. Michael wants to know, is there a group rate for the December 2024 group cruise on Voyager of the Seas? There are. So when we do group rates, this is a really good. I'm going to expand your question, Mike, about group rates. Typically, when travel agents book a group rate, like we do for our Royal Caribbean blog group cruises, we look at, the travel agency will pick a couple of rooms. Like, as you all know, there are tons of room categories, right? And when I say categories, I'm talking more than, inside, ocean view, suite, and balcony. I'm talking, category 4E or 4A, right? Balconies, things like that. And so MEI Travel grabs a few different of the popular categories. And in those cases, they do have group rates. But for other cabins, like if you're like, hey, I want to do a 2-bedroom grand suite, they probably don't have a group rate for that one, but they can still book it for you. So don't feel like you can't go without it. That makes sense. Sphere, thank you for the Norwegian. I'm wearing the appropriate shirt for this one today. 41 days till Independence of the Sea, sailing from Miami. How do I know which terminal ship is sailing from? My set sail pass only says Miami. Not to worry. If you're taking like a Lyft or Uber or driving, however you're getting to the terminal, when you get there, there will be a sign that will indicate. Now, Royal Caribbean goes out of 2 terminals right now in Miami, Terminal A and Terminal G. With Independence, I'm not sure. I think it's still going to be Terminal A, but you'll know that when you get to the port area. So don't worry too much about it. In my experience, when you just you put in Port Miami as the address, like in Lyft or Uber, and then the driver knows where to go, or you tell them, hey, it's that one over there. It really shouldn't have much of an impact on the price. Because it's not like you're going like, oh, I want to go to Miami. No, just kidding, I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. It's just within the same, not even a quarter mile of space right there. Let's see. Wolf Carrot says Atlantis is huge. Give yourself plenty of time to walk through and look at the Choluli glass sculptures. Basically just a casino with an aquarium. Okay, not wrong on that. Next question is from I'm scrolling. Dory wants to know, when will Royal Caribbean open up bookings for Wonder of the Seas November 2025? Probably sometime this fall, Dory, right around November or December. I will post about it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But typically, Royal Caribbean puts out the new itineraries twice a year, once around November, December, and the rest in the spring. So keep an eye on it for, like I said, in November or so. Lots of friends joining us here. Welcome. Mojito Man, what a great name. Thank you for the super chat. 20 days until Oasis of the Seas. Thanks for all the great content. You are very welcome. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us here. I see Sharon Stockman in the house. Jessica Devoto is here. Tracy Slater just got off Serenade of the Seas. I see Scary is here. Mike Pastore is here. Mike Wolf is here. Lots of good friends. Dave E., thank you for our next question and super chat. Going on Harmony in February 2024, we have the dining package all nights other than lobster night in the main dining room. Which venue serves the best lobster entree? Free and additional cost. Chops. This is like a crazy run on sentence. All right, we have the dining package. All right, other than the lobster night in the main dining room, which venue serves the best lobster? What ship are you on? Harmony? Chops. You don't have Hooked on board. Actually, I mean, Izumi Hibachi, it's not quite served this in the same manner, but they do have lobster over there. So chops or Izumi Hibachi would be my recommendation for you. Cindy wants to know: do we need to be concerned about the government shutdown affecting upcoming cruises like flights or cruise? No. The U.S. Customs and Border that mans the the borders with cruise ships and all that. Those are all um, essential personnel. They would not be affected by a government shutdown. It's really government contractors and some other things that would be affected by it primarily. What is the best thing about Odyssey of the Seas? I really love Playmakers in the Seaplex. I think the Seaplex is the best Seaplex they got. The Playmakers location there is really good. I'm a big fan of that quite a bit. Next question is from Shirls. Wants to know: do I need to have a COVID test done in Miami to get a Miami cruise in December? No, you do not. You do not. Rosanna says, just got back from my cruise to Alaska. It was a great trip. However, I returned with COVID. Still wouldn't have missed it for the world. I went to Alaska in summer 2022. Got COVID there as well. And you know what? It was one of my best cruises I've ever taken. I liked it quite that much, Rosanna. But I'm sorry to hear that you got it. Hopefully you'll get over it soon. And hopefully it won't feel too bad. Thank you for joining us here. Next question is from William Mom. William, thank you for the super chat. Here we go again. 363 days till Harmony of the Seas. By the way, I love the eggplant at Giovanni's. Dude, isn't it good? Really good. Glad to have you back, William. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your generosity. Yoink! Thank you for the super chat. Cruising from Cape Liberty in January to March of 2025 are now Odyssey instead of Anthem. Is this a good thing? Yeah, Odyssey is a newer ship. I would say that's definitely a good thing if that's the case. Next question is from T. Higgs. We have Utopia of the Sea scheduled back-to-back. Anyone else doing this make a full 7-day cruise? A lot of people do that, especially with Utopia, to make it worthwhile. The back-to-backs, 3 and 4 is 7 nights. So yeah, great idea. Tukes Vegas, for more details about the group cruise, you can go to royalcaribbeanblog.com/events. royalcaribbeanblog.com/events. And I'm sure Pascal, who's one of our moderators, is going to be already posting the URL for you in the chat. Josh Perry, thank you for the super chat. Good evening to you, Josh. Love the show. Happy cruising. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Masato, thank you for the super chat. Good to see you again. How's that Pinnacle feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired today, but you know what? I feel pretty good. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for being here. Travis, thank you for the super chat. Transatlantic on what's X of the Seas? I don't know. First time we're wondering how much to tip the cabin attendant. Is it better to tip the first day and maybe get better service? I actually don't prescribe to the tip the room attendant on the first day for better service. I think you're going to get great service nonetheless. I always tip my cabin attendant at the end of the cruise, transatlantic or not. So I will simply say I think you're totally fine tipping at the end. As to how much to tip, number one, the automatic gratuities that Royal Caribbean assesses are more than satisfactory. I will usually, on a 7-night cruise, I might give the cabin attendant an extra $100, because first of all, if they're cleaning up after my kids, they deserve it. And second of all, we are definitely leave everything around the room kind of people. We try not to be slobs, but it just kind of is inevitable. So they work so hard for it. So I give them a little extra for that. But really, the automatic gratuities are, certainly sufficient. Sue Sista, thank you for the super chat. Welcome back. 18 days to doing first time on Mariner. I'm now rethinking my time dining. Is it too late to switch to traditional dining? It's never too late. You can certainly ask. You may, and if your travel agent says, "Oh, I'm sorry, it is booked up," ask to be put on the waiting list. That usually comes through. Also, what are some don't miss activities you recommend on Mariner of the Seas? The escape room is really cool on there. That's a fun thing to try out. The bamboo room, only one of 2 ships in the fleet that has the bamboo room bar. Make sure you go there, spend a couple hours drinking in there. And I love the pub singer, schooner bar player on Mariner. It's a great ship. I really love that ship quite a bit. Greg, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, 34 days till transatlantic on Symphony. Will guest services exchange euros for US? If so, is there a fee? And it's just for travel insurance. Thanks for all you do. So, number one, Greg, I'm going to tell you some experience. Now, listen, I'm not just wearing a Norway t shirt because I ordered it off eBay. I got it in Norway. You don't need euros. You really don't. I know as an American, it's weird. I'm assuming you're an American, Greg, but you don't need them. You're just get a credit card that has no foreign transaction fees, and that covers you. When I went to Europe this summer, and I went to Finland, Norway, and England, I never needed to use any cash. I never ran into a scenario, Greg, in which they did not take a debit or a credit card. So get a credit card that has that has no foreign transaction fees. You don't need euros. Will they exchange them for you? I think they do. I've never tried doing that. I mean, worst case, I would say you could probably get it in the airport or at your local bank. But honestly, I'm telling you, you don't need it. It seems like you should. Like, what if I want to order I'm at a cart on the street and I want to get like a hero or a hot dog? They still take credit cards. Let's see here. Next question. Good question so far. Hey, Brittany, thank you for the super chat. Can one internet package be used for two separate phones? Email my husband. Yes, obviously, I think you know this, Brittany. If it's a one device package, only one device can be on at a time. So if you're on with your phone, your husband can't use it because if he tried to sign on, he would kick you off. But you can absolutely share the internet packages with somebody else. Traveling Trio. First Roller Caribbean cruise was in September on Quantum of the Seas. After 13 Disney cruises, Royal was amazing and your blogs were so incredibly helpful. We've now booked 2 more. Hey, that is fantastic. And let me tell you something. As somebody who started cruising with Disney myself and went over to Royal Caribbean, you're in good footsteps. Or you're following. I don't know what the metaphor is there, but something along those lines. Lorraine wants to know what hotel do I recommend near the port in Fort Lauderdale. I recommend, and I like quite a bit, the Marriott Fort Lauderdale Airport, I believe is the name of it. I've stayed there now, Lorraine, 4 or 5 times now. It's right by Port Point. It's really close to the port, maybe like a 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive, depends on which direction you take. It is right by the airport as well, as the name implies. It is brand new, so it's really, really nice rooms. Clean, it's safe. Marriott Fort Lauderdale Airport. It's right next to Dania Point, which is a big shopping plaza. So what's great, even on top of all that, is you can walk from your hotel easily to do a bunch of shopping and dining and things of that nature. So you don't need a car there. Let's see. Andres wants to know, hey, Matt, I am a first time on a cruise next November. I know you can't bring alcohol into a cruise, but what if I buy a bottle at a port? No problem. When you get back on board the ship, they'll confiscate it and give it back to you at the end of the cruise. Susan Westfall. Susan, thank you for the super chat. Are discounts like senior, military, Diamond Plus, balcony, etc. apply to group cruise fares? They can. There are rules, Susan, with those type of discounts as to their combinability. So depending on if it's combinable or not, then yes, but I can't promise you that you'll be able to use them. Does that make sense? Like hypothetically, yes, but it depends on the redemption rules of those particular programs right there. Razor Ray has a really good point here. The best lobster is at the Beach Club at Coco Key. You are not wrong. Coco Beach Club lobster and the filet mignon. I will say this. The filet mignon at Coco Beach Club is the best filet mignon that I have had across anywhere in Royal Caribbean, including their cruise ships. It's really, really good. Ronnie Bickers. Ronnie, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you. I don't see a message from you, Ronnie, but it's good to see you there. Amber says, my daughter is 3, but not fully potty trained. Is she still able to go to the 3 to 5-year-old if we go there and change her ourselves? Yes and no. So here's the thing. They're going to ask you, is she fully potty trained? Look, I would argue no 3-year-old is fully potty trained. And fully is like, the same equivalent of potty training as like you or I, right? I can't speak for, me, I'm mostly there, but I'm sure you're fully potty trained, right? So here's what you're going to say. Number 1, there is a 3 strikes and you're out rule at Adventure Ocean, which means if she were to have an accident, they get it. They can't change her, but they will allow her. They'll give her something else, and they'll call you, and take care of the rest. Anyway, the point is that they have a little bit of leniency. My advice is this: number one, when you bring your daughter, first of all, before you drop her off, have her go to the bathroom because the staff can't help her, but you go take her to the bathroom, and then you can either stop by when our kids were exactly 3 and we were in the exact same scenario as you. We would either stop by or call every hour and ask to speak to her and say, "Do you need to go to potty?" Because they can't help you, but I will go up there and help and make that a thing, and then she can go right back into play. No big deal. So make that a habit. Try to keep the duration that she doesn't have interaction with you to take her to the bathroom low, and that's probably going to be your best bet. Let's see. Next question. Stephanie, why are we not able to print past cruise compasses from the Royal Caribbean blog with our downloading special software? Without downloading, you don't have to download anything. If there's one you want, Stephanie, email me, matt@royalcaribbeanblog.com. Send me a link and I can enable it. That's all. That's all you have to do. Carlos, thank you for the super chat, my friend. 36 days till Harmony of the Seas. Can WowMaster 2018 still be used? Yes, as long as it does not have the muster station on the band. Carlos, some of the early ones had muster stations printed. If it doesn't have it, you can still use it. Just bring it to guest services and they can exchange it for you. Ronnie, thank you again for the super chat. 60 days to Liberty. When is the best value to use the 1 or 2 days of free Voom when you become Diamond Plus? Here's the thing. If your cruise is 3 or 4 days, then just use it on day 1 and use it towards the duration of your cruise and it'll be fine. Honestly, if you can skip the first day, because remember, first day of your cruise, you don't get on the ship until about noon or so, right? You have your cell phone coverage for most of the afternoon. You only have to get from like 4 o'clock p.m. to midnight. And if you can do that without using the internet, then you can skip a whole day, then cash in your diamond internet days. That might be your best strategy, frankly. If you're on a longer sailing, Ronnie, a 7-night cruise, I think you're still better off, honestly, pre-purchasing an internet package. If you want internet for the duration of the cruise, if you say, Matt, I just need 1 or 2 days, then just whatever works for you. Definitely a sea day in that situation. Let's see here. Cletus, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Matt. Have you ever had a cruise canceled by Royal Caribbean only to have them later reinstated? This happened recently to us on December 2024 Freedom Cruise. I have not. I have heard about this as well. So a little while, I don't remember if it was last year or earlier this year, Royal Caribbean canceled a cruise on Freedom of the Seas for December 24 because the ship needed to go to dry dock. Then Royal Caribbean changed the dry dock dates and reinstated the cruise. Suffice to say, Cletus, it is very much an outlier situation, not normal. So no, I've not had that situation before. Greg, have you ever done a cruise over a major holiday, Thanksgiving or Christmas? Yes, I have done both holidays. It's really cool. You don't have to cook, clean up, or anything like that. And there are traditional dinners, special decorations, special events. As long as your cruise goes over those holidays, yes, absolutely. They make a big deal about it. You'll see a lot of special things. But when it comes to the dinner, a lot of people wonder about that. In the main dining room, they will have the regular dining room menu plus a holiday menu as well. And it's included with the main dining room, not to worry over there. Excuse me. Lori from Ohio. I've never used a travel agent to book my cruise before. Do you use someone local? No, I use MEI Travel. They're not local. They don't live anywhere near me. Maybe there is an agent near me, but that's not the point. When it comes to a travel agency, I was just number one, you should use a travel agent. Number two, you should use a travel agent that someone recommends to you. Like I just recommended MEI Travel. Word of mouth is really key. But no, do not limit yourself to local travel agents. This work can be done from anywhere in the country. So just find a good one that other people recommend and go from there. Does Oasis have an escape room? It does indeed. Yes. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Royal Caribbean canceled Juneau stop this week 6 days prior due to weather. Sounds fishy. Or there was really bad weather. Radiance of the Seas, it makes you feel any better, was stuck in port for 2 days because of that weather. So it happens. And September in Alaska is at the end of the cruise season. It's far more stormier. This is the risk. And by the way, you can have bad weather anywhere in the world. There are no guarantees out there. I'm sorry it happened to you, but listen, they want to get you out there and they want you happy and satisfied. They trust me, there's no angle to keeping the ship out of Juneau. It serves no purpose. You get a lot more complaints than anything else. Christopher, thank you for the super chat. Leaving on Independence of the Seas, October 20th. Can't wait. Any suggestions are must do's? This is our first Royal Caribbean cruise. See Grease, the Broadway musical. It's included with your cruise fare, so make sure you go see that. We can spend a lot of time talking about must do's and all that. I mean, obviously, plan your day at Perfect Day if you haven't already. Have a plan of action. Whether you don't have to book something, Chris. Don't be like, oh gosh, I need to book a cabana because Matt said to plan something. No, maybe you just go and say, we're going to go hang out at Oasis Lagoon. Or better yet, split your day. Start off at Oasis Lagoon and then go over to Chill Island or vice versa or something like that. That could be a good way to do it. But have a good, nice little plan there. Yoink, thank you for the super chat. We'll be on a Royal Caribbean cruise on a Halloween with my 8-year-old. Is there a Halloween party at Anthem? Yes. Should I bring my costumes? Yes. There will be trick-or-treating. There will be costume contests. Absolutely. Bring you and your daughter's Halloween costumes on board for sure. Donna in the chat hanging out somewhere in Baston. Hello, Don. Hope you're doing well. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Wonder if the season 19 days. Will I still understand Effectors 2 if I still haven't seen Effectors 1? Yes. I was actually, can I be honest? I was disappointed with Effectors 2, only in the sense that they spent the entire show, well, not the, but the first half of the show, recapping everything from Effectors 1. Like, well, this really isn't a sequel. This is just another show of the same kind. Anyway, the bottom line is, yeah, they go over it. Don't worry. The plot is super thin to begin with. It is paper thin to start. Number 2, they explain everything. You won't miss a beat. Don't worry about it. Let's see here. Jeff Rains. How are you, Jeff? Thank you for the super chat. Any clue what I tip the genie on an Oasis class Royal Loft suite? Finally got one after 8 years of trying. This is a really tough question, Jeff. When I first started doing Star Class, my first Star Class, I was worried about the same thing because, as many of you know, the genie is the kind of butler / personalized guest service magic maker that works with you when you stay in a cabin, in a Star Class cabin. And how much to tip them, Jeff? The range of prices that I have seen from other people saying this is what I tipped was crazy. I mean, some people are like $100, some people are like $1,000. And by the way, I think $1,000 is too much to tip. There isn't a right or wrong answer. They appreciate whatever tip you can give them. So I do think something is appropriate, but I don't know that there is necessarily a great answer. You can say $100 a day maybe would be the thing, but there are people that tip far less. And you know what? The genie still appreciates it's more the gesture than anything else. Plus, on top of that, right? How much are you leveraging their services? How much do you feel you're getting out of it? Those kinds of things you can only answer once you get on board the ship. But I need to emphasize, Jeff, there isn't a right or wrong answer for this. If you go on the Royal Caribbean blog message boards, again, you'll see all sorts of numbers people throw out there. And but having talked to genies in the past, they've all basically said the same thing. It's not, I mean, they'll appreciate whatever you can give them. It's not so much like, oh, we look for this amount or that amount, but something is better than nothing, and that's really the most important thing right there. Sean Kirk, thank you for the super chat. I'm going to drink a water here. Wonderful advice always. 342 days till our next cruise on Freedom at Port Everglades. Heading back to Perfect Day and visiting San Juan and Charlotte Amalie September 1st, 2024. Nice. Those are great ports, by the way. Man, I love San Juan, Puerto Rico. Maybe not in the summer when it's like 1,000 degrees. But boy, I do love San Juan. And of course, Perfect Day, St. Thomas. Those are great places to go. Let's see here. Next question is from LRP or IRP. I'm not sure. Is the Windjammer open for dinner? Yes. The app doesn't list dining hours. Yeah, no, it's open for dinner. It opens at 6:30. It goes about 9:30. So yeah, definitely open. Mrs. Cooley, is the Royal Caribbean app chat feature a good way to communicate? Is there an audible notification when receiving a message? Well, it depends. First of all, it's free, and for that, I think it's worthwhile. And obviously, if you do not have an internet package, it is pretty darn good. As for the notifications, it's not perfect, but more often than not, it does work. So I would say if the option is nothing, then yes, it is worthwhile. If you're going to get an internet package, I would argue using an internet and an app among yourselves, whether it's WhatsApp or iMessage, whatever, is better. But I do appreciate the fact that it is free now, and I think that is worthwhile. You have to be fully potty trained to gamble in the casino. Based on what I've seen, no. Mike Gunshow, thank you for the super chat. One of our rooms can have up to 5 people. It'll have 4 guys. Royal Caribbean says they had a Pullman bed if there are 5 people. Can we still get one with just 4? I don't know what they mean by they can add a Pullman bed. This might be a question for a travel agent, because Pullman beds are the beds that come down from the side of the wall or from the ceiling. You can't add those. Those are built into the cabin. I think, Mike, what they may be saying, and I don't want to put words in their mouth because I don't know who this is, but it sounds to me like if you wanted 5, we'll move you to another cabin that can handle that. But if you're 4, you can stay in this cabin. Does that make sense? That's my understanding of based on your description here of what it could be. But it's more of a question for a travel agent than anything else. JR, can we use our drink cup that we got from our last cruise and soda package? You cannot. No, that is not allowed. Ted O'Brien. Ted, thank you for the super chat. 27 days till Explorer of the Seas. Finally, under 30. And that's a big deal. When you get under a month, it really becomes real at that point. Like I know exactly what you're going through, Ted, because our next Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise is on in October 22nd on Serenade. And it's getting real now. We're under a month. Can't wait. And Whipple is here. And thank you for the super chat. Aboard the wonderful Allure of the Seas and having a fabulous time. Thanks to you. Thanks so much for answering questions to make our cruise wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. That is fantastic. Thank you for your generosity. And I hope you have an awesome time on board. What does Royal Caribbean do for Thanksgiving? They'll have a special menu in the main dining room. There'll be decorations around the ship. And then in the cruise compass, they can have different events like Thanksgiving trivia, among other activities. I remember there was actually on one of the ships we were on, they did a arts and crafts thing for anybody, mostly for the kids, but any adult could go there as well. And you can make, those paper, construction paper turkeys and things like that. David Sandon, what is your thought on Brightline going from one port to another? I love it. I hate driving to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. I hate driving to South Florida because I live in Orlando. So for me personally, I love this because it's so boring of a drive. And if there's traffic, it's terrible. Anyway, the train is going to be much better for that. And I think that's huge. For somebody who does not live in the state, depending on your plan, maybe let's assume maybe that you're looking to take a cruise and the flight to Orlando or Miami is way cheaper. You could, if you're coming in a day ahead of time, fly in and take the train, maybe save some money there. It's not cheap. The train is not like dirt cheap, but I love it. I think we only stand to benefit from it. Next question is from Eddie Maldonado. What's up, Matt? I was wondering if there's any shows on Independence of the Seas. Do you have to reserve to be able to attend the shows? There are shows. You don't need to reserve them. Grease, the Broadway musical, is on there, along with other shows in the main theater, the Studio B ice skating shows. You don't need or can make reservations. You simply show up early, 20 or 30 minutes ahead of time should be fine. Joe Blow, thank you for the super chat. Booked a cabin, not a suite on Harmony. Can I get a chilled bottle of Prosecco in my room each night? If so, who do I ask? Not for free. You can get, I will tell you this much, Joe. You can absolutely get a bucket of ice. That's not a problem. The problem I'm struggling with is the bottle. Granted, you could just buy the bottle and go to a restaurant or a bar, buy the bottle, bring it back to your room, put it on ice, and you're good to go. That would work. And for the chilled ice, ask your stateroom attendant. They can take care of that for you. That will be included. Obviously, the Prosecco will not be. Foodie Fred, what a great name. I have an MSC cruise next week. It's more affordable. Be careful what you pay for. Do you have any tips for getting cheap Royal Caribbean tips? Unfortunately, the price of a cruise, and this is industry wide, has really been going up, right? Now, MSC is still priced fairly aggressively on the low end of the market, especially here in North America, because they're trying to penetrate the US market. Number one. And number two, they don't offer necessarily all the features and things that Royal Caribbean offers necessarily. But for some people, they say, well, all I care about is I want to go on a cruise ship in a cabin that's clean and nice and go to beautiful islands and sit by the pool. And I really don't care if there's a Broadway show or industry leading internet or what have you. Fine. But as to, let me bring that back to your question, for getting cheap Royal Caribbean trips, number one, it's still the most important tip. And this is true if you want to book, no matter what cruise you want to book it as early as you can. The earlier you book your cruise, the better it's going to be in terms of pricing. Prices go up over time. So that'd be number one. Number two, I don't want to say that last minute deals are dead, but they're digging the Undertaker's digging the grave as we speak. It just seems like the days of like dirt cheap last minute cruises are really behind us at this point, given how hot the cruise market is in terms of demand. Crazy. And of course, book cruise off season, right? Going to cruise in January, September, most of May, first 2 weeks of December. Ray and Nancy Cruisers, thank you for the super chat. Where can I find a list of shows on the various ships? I don't believe there is a list for a couple of reasons. One, well, Royal doesn't have one. Two, other than the Broadway shows, of which you can find a list somewhere, the other shows change a fair amount depending on what's happening, especially like headliners or whatnot. But there is not a concise directory or list of like, oh, if you go on Freedom of the Seas, it's these shows. If you go on Oasis of the Seas, it's these shows. I'm certainly not aware of such a list. Next question is from Social Studies Dude. Man, that would have been my username if I was back in high school. I love social studies. October 15th, on Wonder of the Seas. Do you think there will still be a Halloween festivities, or is that only the week of the holiday? Only the week of the holiday. Sorry. Yeah, it'll just be another October cruise for you. You'll have a great time, but don't pack your Halloween costume. Will, thank you for the super chat. 139 days till Harmony. How long does it take to see new cruise compass on Royal Caribbean blog? Looking for these updates from the change of Allure to Harmony in Galveston. Good question, Will. It's more a question of who's going to send them to me than anything else. I'm wholeheartedly dependent on our readers sending them in. The thing I would tell you, Will, is if you look at one from Allure in Galveston, it's probably going to be about the same. If you can start, like, obviously, Mamma Mia, you replace that with Grease, same basic idea. They're not going to reinvent the wheel all that much. So I would at least use that as a ballpark idea. Hopefully, we'll get some initially when Harmony and Allure flip their home ports. But I can't. There isn't like I don't have a path or a link. Otherwise, it's really just dependent on people sending them in. So hopefully, Will, if you come in here every week and start browbeating people into sending them in, maybe we'll get one. Jason wants to know any tips on when leaving things like your phone, sunglasses, CPAS on a lounger and going in the water on the pool deck or a Cocoa Key? Do we need to worry about other passengers with the sticky fingers? It's a good question. Honestly, we just leave our stuff. Number one, I'll leave it on the chair. Number two, I will cover it up. So I won't leave my phone, sunglasses, CPAS like out and about. I'll cover it up. We usually have a bag. I'll put a towel over it. So basically, you can avoid just somebody being like walking by, and I don't think it's really happened, but somebody just casually grabbing it, right? As opposed to having to rifle through your stuff. It's a little bit different. Number two, I always stay within visual distance of the stuff, so I don't like leave my stuff there at Chill Island and then walk over to wherever. Somebody's always with the stuff or within visual acuity of the stuff. If you're really worried about it, I don't think it's really much of a risk, especially on the cruise ship. I mean, there is a risk. There's risk with everything. I don't think I think the risk is quite low on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship or on Perfect Day at Cocoa Key, which is owned by or leased by Royal Caribbean. But if you're really worried about it, especially at Cocoa Key, you could rent, a cabana or a beach bed that has a safe as part of it. That would be an option. Melvin, we don't know this for a fact, but I believe my expectation is that we'll start getting them in November of this year. Which have I been on the most, and how many times have you been on it? Ooh, it's a great question. I think it's almost certainly Mariner of the Seas. Almost certainly. Let me look it up. I'm just curious. I think I would have to do a little more research to figure out if that is. I'm pretty sure it's Mariner because I've been on Mariner a lot. She spent a lot of time here in Port Canaveral when she was doing 3 and 4 night cruises. She's still here, but she's not doing 3 and 4 nighters. But I did a lot of those cruises. And then before the 3 and 4 nighters, I did a fair amount of cruising on Mariner to begin with. So if you look at past cruises, I have 77 past cruises. Mariner, I see 12, which would be a lot out of 77. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times on Mariner of the Seas. So, yes. MMJ, can the Genie and Star Class arrange for a perfect day at the steak and lobster lunch in your cabin? I don't think so. They prepare that food on the island. I don't believe they can do that. You can certainly get steak and lobster in your room from I don't know what ship you're on, but hooked or chops. So yeah. Next question is from Mrs. Thomas. In your opinion, how well equipped do you think Adventure Ocean is to handle a high functioning autistic child? It's a good question. I would certainly I can't answer that question for you. It's a good one. I don't know. There's a number of factors. Number one, high functioning can mean a lot of different things for different people. I don't want to pretend to know that. Number two, I'm not a person of authority that can give you that kind of expectations. Adventure Ocean can work. There is some degree of flexibility they have. But if your child has special needs, they may not be able to meet those. My best advice, there's a couple things. Number one, you could obviously on the first day of the cruise go to Adventure Ocean. They'll have an open house. You can meet the staff. Your child can meet the staff. They can get a quick little rapport going, and you can kind of get an idea of what to expect. I would not expect a great deal of bending over backwards for them, so to speak. They can't. They just simply can't. It's not a matter of will. It's a matter of they've got to take care of 100 other kids. This is the reality of it. But number two, if you're saying, well, Matt, we need something, and if that doesn't work, that would really put us in a problem situation. I would recommend a great group called Autism on the Seas. Autism on the Seas. They're a third party, not affiliated, they're not Royal Caribbean. But Mike, who runs the company, I've known him for many, many years. Great guy. His company does amazing work. And they organize cruises in which they bring a staff member to go with your family. It's really amazing. So maybe check that out as well. Pablo, thank you for the super chat. Pair character punching in the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here. Nelson's taking a first time inaugural cruise. What can we expect? The unexpected. Inaugural cruises are a big party, so you'll see executives on board the cruise ship. You may even see Michael Bailey, maybe not, I don't know. You will see a lot of cruise fans, like a lot of Pinnacles and Diamond Plus. It is a party. It is homecoming. It is Thanksgiving wrapped in one. There may be a little bit of swag offered, some Icon of the Seas tchotchkes. You'll probably get a little certificate at the end of the cruise saying Nelson Nunez went on the inaugural or maiden cruise of Icon of the Seas. But it's a big party, lots big to do. And I would say most importantly, or equally importantly, there could be things that won't be working, Nelson. There may not be every single show offered. There may not be every single venue open yet. They could still be doing work on the ship. Keep that in mind as well. Next question is from War Doctor. I'm taking my daughter on Independence Seas in a few days, and we've been watching your videos to get pumped up. Can you give Olive Penelope a shout out? Olive, you're gonna love Independence of the Seas. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Next question is from Les Sylvan. Thank you for the super chat. 35 days to a 32-day South Pacific cruise. Sorry, it's a princess, but they have one that is round trip out of LA. Hey, Les, I hope you have a wonderful time on board, Princess. That's gonna be awesome. JP, thank you for the super chat. Just want to send out good vibes. Our son was born on Friday. Officially looking at cruise 6 months out. He'll be having sea legs before his land legs. Mazel tov, JP. Chat, can we get a big clap and congratulations to JP in the chat? A dad. That is awesome, dude. Oh man, you're in for like no sleep for like a year. But my goodness, it's great because when your kids get to how old are mine? Oh god, it's great. You're gonna love it. But yes, when your son is awake at 2 a.m. and you're losing your mind, remember, one hand holds the baby, one hand holds your phone as you book a cruise, because that will get you through it. Let's see here. Mara, do you know Emma Cruises? Yes. If so, did you go to a cruise together? I didn't go on a cruise with her, but I did meet up with her in London. I've known Emma for a while, but I got a chance to meet up with her in London this past summer, and she is amazing. One of the nicest people in the world. Truly, truly, everything you see on in her videos is her and then some. She's an incredible person. Janice wants to know: does the new adult area Cocoa Beach? Try that again. Does the new adult area at Cocoa Key have a charge? Yes. There's an admission cost in order to get in there. There are no free parts that are there. Oh, I do have a Hudson. By the way, someone asked me about Emma. And Hudson is right there. Travis, thank you for the super chat. What's the policy on bringing a Fire Stick or game console? Can you use the HDMI on the in-room TV? Good question. You can absolutely bring them. The problem is the television itself. Depending on the ship you're on, Travis, because sometimes the ports are inaccessible. Like physically, you can't get to the port. But also in other cases, in most cases, there is not an input button on the remote. So you either have to bring your own universal remote, or you hope that there's a way to change the input. It's very hit or miss, Travis. So if you're on a new ship, it's a lot less problematic than if you're on, a Mariner of the Seas, for example. Yoink, thank you again for the super chat. Do you keep an Excel or Google sheet of all your past upcoming cruises too? I don't actually. You think I would? I know a lot of people that are very into cruising do. I don't. My past cruises are on the Royal Caribbean account. I just log in over there. But I never got into the Excel sheet. I know. I mean, listen, I'm a very high functioning nerd, but I never got to that level of doing a spreadsheet, at least not for like all my cruises. I have done spreadsheets in the past, but they were for like early cruises. And I haven't done one in a really long time. So, yeah. Do you have a really good one, Yoink, or is it just like a hodgepodge you've been keeping together every now and then? Christine Del Rossi is here, just joining in after dinner in the main dining room on Jewel of the Seas. I hope you're having a great time on Jewel. If I was given a free cruise with other cruise lines, what cruise line ship would you pick? Oh man. See, this is a good question, because would I pick a ship that like Matt wants to sail on because Matt thinks it's interesting, or would I pick a cruise that Matt thinks is good for the blog? Because I've talked about this in the past, that like I've been toying with the idea of booking like Carnival and Norwegian's newest ships, like Mardi Gras or Celebration or Prima and Viva, in order to be able to compare and contrast them. I think that might be interesting. It's like, here's the best of the other lines. How does that compare to Royal Caribbean? But I would freely admit I don't necessarily have a burning desire to go on either. I've always thought if I was going to do like, if this is just like I'm going on vacation and not doing work or anything, certainly I've always been intrigued by the Queen Mary 2 from Cunard. It's, more of an ocean liner than a cruise ship, and that kind of interests me. It's a little different. That might be my answer. I'm not sure. It's a good question. Next question is from Will. Dumb question, but do you get a refund on pre-purchase packages if you win a Royal Up for a suite that includes the package? Not automatically. So you need to cancel it, Will. So you need to go into if you win the upgrade, go in and cancel it, then you will. Richard Haynes. Richard, thank you for the super chat. Does Roker do anything special for Valentine's Day in the Super Bowl? Yes. For Valentine's Day, other than maybe like a trivia event, they'll they'll jack up the price of chops and Giovanni's, and offer like a bottle of wine or something to make up for it. For Super Bowl, they will it's like a big party. They'll show the game in the Royal Theater. They'll obviously show it by the pool. They'll show it in a variety of different venues. And in places like the Royal Theater, they'll have like free food you can get to eat over there, like wings and popcorn, things of that nature. Tom Burns says, I was on the Sun Viking, one of the first 3 Royal Caribbean ships, and the longest sailing life of the original trio. That's really cool, dude. I actually put not similarly along those lines, I guess. I posted an article at royalcaribbeanblog.com last week that showcased what it was like to cruise in the 1980s on Royal Caribbean, including the Sun Viking. So that's really neat. Rita, thank you for the super chat. First time in virtual inside cabin. Thoughts on? You mean a virtual balcony? Rita, look at it as an upgrade from a inside room. So it's like a better inside cabin rather than a replacement for a balcony room. And if you do it that way, I think it's great. I like it quite a bit. So what's nice about it, Rita, is that there's a remote for it. And you can be in your bed and you can wake up in the morning and be like, all right, let's see what's happening here. One eye open, like the Metallica song says, and you can turn on the virtual balcony and see what's happening outside, which is kind of nice. Cheryl, do you have to sign for every alcoholic drink, whether you buy a package or not? No, if you have the package, they don't make you sign the receipt. If you don't have a package, they do make you sign the receipt. Sharon Stockman, thank you for the super chat. I do a spreadsheet to map out dining shows, etc. It makes it easier to schedule when I first get on the ship, and dinner does not interfere with shows. That's a great idea. There's definitely value to it, Sharon. No doubt about it. Ooh, Silver Sea. Yeah, I guess I would. Actually, I probably would want to do Silver Sea. Going back to the, if I could gift a free cruise. Yeah, let's do Silver Sea. Forget Cunard. I think it's a great idea. Do you have the option to buy internet halfway through the cruise? Yeah, you can buy the internet any point during the cruise, and it's prorated for the rest of the duration of the sailing. Modern Myths. Wouldn't it be great if you could connect your phone or device to the room's TV so you could go online without using the TV, maybe watch Matt stream on it? On the new ships like Wonder of the Seas and Odyssey, there is a streaming option, and you still have to use your phone to do that, but that would be a really cool thing to do. I would love that. Muriel, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from Muriel, but thank you very much for your generosity. Luciano, hi, Matt. If we buy a pre-fixed lunch at Izumi, are we stuck with the one small, two large, one dessert order, or can we use the money we prepaid to order a la carte? No, if you pre-buy it, you are stuck with the prefix menu, which means also you're getting half-size sushi rolls. So don't do it. Cancel it, Luciano. This is what I would do, honestly. Cancel it. When you get on the ship, go to Izumi, make a reservation, and tell me you don't want the fixed price, and you'll be totally fine. So that's what I would do if I were you. Tom, is there any place that serves popcorn on Symphony of the Seas? Yes. Usually I see it outside the theater or right by the comedy club on deck 4. It does cost extra, but they do serve that from time to time. Also, on the boardwalk, they will do like a family fun boardwalk day or something like that, and then there will be popcorn there, and that popcorn actually ends up being free. Can't promise they'll have it, but that's usually when I've seen it on board. So to go back to the autistic question from earlier, DG has an autistic son. They were fabulous. Even though he was 10, they gave us a pager so they could be in contact with us at all the time. Talked to Royal Caribbean prior, asked them a form to fill out about him. Cool. DG, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. When you said talk to Royal Caribbean prior, was there an email you used, or whom did you reach out to? Anita, thank you for the super chat. Just got back from my first cruise. Freedom of the Seas was awesome. Thanks for all your help. You made it so much easier for us with your tips and input. I'm so glad to hear that. That is really, really cool to hear. Fantastic. Thank you for your generous super chat. Awesome. And last question is from Terpene Touch. What time is the main dining room open at? Is the option just for dinner? The main dining room is open for breakfast and dinner every day of the cruise. And then for lunch, it's open on sea days. So for the exact time, it depends on the ship. But you can figure out the time. If you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, in our main menu, there's a link to this cruise compass. On that, find the ship you're sailing on, and if you're going on Wonder of the Seas, you find a recent cruise compass from Wonder of the Seas. It's going to have the times that you see there are going to be the times for dinner for your sailing. So there you go. Hope that makes sense. Danny DiMatteo sneaking into super chat at the end over here. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, is there any deep water I can swim at Coco Key? Yes, I mean you have to go out for it, but there is deeper water, especially at Chill Island. The South Shore, which is like South Beach and Cuckoo Beach Club, it has a large sandbar that goes on for a while. But Chill Island, I think you can actually get some deeper water over there. So, yep. All right. On that note, we're going to wrap things up here. I've run out of time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I want to say some thank yous to our super chatters today. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Muriel. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Richard. Yoink. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, JP. Mazel Tov again. Thank you. Les. Thank you. War Doctor. Thank you. Pablo. Thank you. Mrs. Thomas. Thank you. Will. Thank you again. Social Studies Dude, thank you. Ray and Nancy Cruisers, thank you. Joe Blow, thank you. Eddie, thank you. Ann, thank you. Ted O'Brien, thank you. Mike, thank you. Sean Kirk, thank you. Jeff Rains, thank you. Mark, thank you. Yoink, thank you again. Christopher, thank you. Mark Olwick, thank you. Cletus, thank you. Carlos, thank you. Ronnie, thank you. Susan Westfall, thank you. Brittany B, thank you. Greg Donkey, thank you. Sue Sista, thank you. Travis, thank you again. Masato, thank you. Josh Perry, thank you. Yoink, thank you. William, thank you. Davey, thank you. Mojito Man, thank you. Sphere, thank you. Ed, thank you. Dylan M, thank you. Former Genius, thank you. JC, thank you. Nicole, thank you. Helg Hallen, thank you. Desiree, thank you. JD, thank you. And Lori Reed, thank you. But before we go, going back to the autistic question earlier, Autistic Son, they mailed us a color book to get him familiar with getting on and off the unknown. I wonder, again, who did you contact? Because that's awesome. But I'm not sure how you get it, like other people would be able to get that. That is fantastic. At any rate, we've run out of time. But thank you all so, so much. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We will be back again next week, right here on YouTube. Until then, have a great rest of your week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. That's important as well. And we'll talk again very soon, right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.